Hello, everybody. Welcome into Senior Living Live. My name is Melissa. Thanks so much for being with us. We are previewing our upcoming webinar called Cognitive Stimulation for Older Adults Living with Dementia. You can join us July 18th at noon Eastern time to hear my guest today, Mary Ann Bazerghi. She's going to have some wonderful tips to share and an excellent sneak peek for you today about this topic. Mary Ann, great to see you. Thank you so much for being with us and for talking about this topic. It's the first time we've had a webinar like this.
Thank you for having me. I'm really passionate about helping the caregivers of people who live with dementia, so we're thrilled to be able to share some of that information with you today.
And they're going to be thrilled that you're excited to be sharing that. I know sometimes a lot of our caregivers kind of feel forgotten. So we want to let them know that they are not. We're going to try to help them out here today and with your upcoming webinar, certainly. First and foremost, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Mary Ann Bazerghi. I work at Eugeria. Within that company, my role is Chief Growth and Innovation Officer. Eugeria, we're a company with a very clear social mission, which is to improve the quality of life of older adults living with dementia and their caregiver. And we believe that technology, that is good technology, has a role to play in improving quality of life when someone gets a dementia diagnosis. In my role, what I do is I look for innovations all across the planet, and I test them with a group of professional, but also family caregivers to make sure that these innovations are appropriate for someone with dementia, to make sure that they are useful, dignifying, innovative, and backed by science. And when those innovations fit those evaluation criteria, we add them to our catalog. And so if people are curious about some of the innovations that we found over the course of the years, people can download our catalog on our website. Right now, it's not possible to make online transactions, but if they find anything that they like, they're welcome to call us and we'll be happy to help them. We'll be launching our website at the end of August.
Perfect. And so we're going to preview sort of what you guys have to offer with your webinar a little bit here today, and then with a series of videos that we have coming out for the Arbor Company in August about one of those innovations. So we'll be talking a lot about this very topic over the next month and a half, and we're really looking forward to it. So as we continue to study and learn more about dementia, right? Over 20 years, we've learned so much just over that period of time. It has been found out that cognitive stimulation can really greatly enhance someone's quality of life if they're living with dementia. How does this work?
And it's a really important question, and I thought it would be prudent to start my answer by saying that I'm not a physician, and so if you have any questions about your loved one that has dementia, it's really important for you to talk to your doctor first. And if you feel like you have something going on in your life or something going on with your loved one and you don't have enough resources, there are tons of organizations out there that can help you. The most common one is often your local Alzheimer's Society. They have a ton of resources to help you understand better what's going on and also give you some tips and tricks. So wanted to make sure that people didn't feel alone, make sure that you reach out. There are lots and lots of people that are very knowledgeable and can help you. If I can explain kind of in a very simple manner what cognitive stimulation is it's a way to provide mental activity. And regardless of if you have a diagnosis of dementia or not, being physically active, having mental stimulation, having social interaction with family, friends, and loved ones are beneficial. So that's true before a diagnostic and after a diagnostic. And so the goal is being healthy in a well-rounded way. And that is really, really helpful for the health of your body and the health of your brain. And that can help both prevent the onset of dementia if you have a healthy overall lifestyle, but also if you do have a diagnosis, having some mental stimulation, but also making sure that you're physically active and that you eat well and you have a good social stimulation through a good network of friends and family. Those can all be good things that help. So the way I view it is those are all activities that help fill your cup. And the more your cup is full, the more you're able to face challenges that come your way.
Absolutely. And that in general, it's just something we all should be doing from a young age. And of course, even more so, it's even more important as we get older. But when we talk specifically about the cognitive part of this, right, the cognitive stimulation, can you talk about some of the types of cognitive stimulation that can be proven to be beneficial? And maybe can you give us a few of those without taking away from your webinar on the 18th? And when we talk about the cognitive portion of it, I mean, you just don't want people sitting around watching television, right?
Exactly, right. And so think about it, the same advice you would give to young kids is as they're growing and developing and their brains are kind of becoming stronger, that's a similar advice you want to give to yourself. And you want to be kind to yourself or to your loved one. And that is to say, we always encourage kids to go outside, go play with your friends. Stop, watching TV, stop being in front of your screen. So that same advice holds true for adults. Spending time outside in nature has proven to be beneficial for the brain. So even just taking a few minutes a day at lunch break or after work to walk and be surrounded by nature is a type of sensory stimulation that is really beneficial for the brain. The other thing we often tell young kids is learn something new, right? Just discover the world. That'll be good for you. And that is true even for adults. So sometimes people will tell me, I read somewhere that if I do Sudoku, I won't have Alzheimer's. And the reality is, if you're someone who does Sudoku every day for 45 minutes for 20 years, you might have seen it. First of all, it's a wonderful activity, so I don't encourage you to stop you. But because it's not something new, the benefits that your brain would have had at the beginning of learning this new activity and doing this new mental exercise that was creating new neural pathways in your brain, well, when you've been doing it for 10 years, those pathways are just really well worn out. And so you always want to try and challenge yourself to learn something new. And that's not to say that you should every year try to learn a new language, but maybe try a new recipe that you've never had the courage to try because it was 20 steps long. Or maybe try your hand at gardening, or try to bring your grandkid to an activity in a new city that might have you practice your sense of direction. And really, I encourage each and every one of us to try and do something a little bit outside of a comfort zone, because that way we are learning something new, and that's been proven to be really good exercise for the brain. So those are two small examples I could give without giving away too much for next week.
Exactly what we want. And I like that, just learning something new. And I didn't think about that. As you said, you really wear things out when you do something over and over and over, and you're really good at it because you've been repeating it for 10, 20 years. Try something new. I think that's something that all of us can do starting today. So something people can implement as of right now. So I like that. How does something as simple as creating a routine anchor someone who is struggling with dementia?
Creating a routine is something that is very beneficial and very helpful. I will say that it's important whenever you're thinking about doing something for your loved one that has dementia to remember that one size doesn't fit all. Often dementia happens in the later stages of life, which means that you are working with someone that has a full, long life of experiences, preferences, and so it's important to take that into consideration. If their whole life someone has been a evening person, a night owl that does not like to get up early, when they are diagnosed with dementia, when they are a bit, in a stressful moment in their life, now is not the time to implement a very strict routine of waking up at 6 a.m. with a smoothie. So find the routine that works for you and for that person based on their personal preferences. Having a routine is definitely a way that helps decrease anxiety. So, that sensation of having a word on the tip of your tongue and not being able to find it, People in the early stages of dementia describe that that is often how they feel throughout the day. And so it can really be a confusing and frustrating experience. So having a routine is one of the things that you are able to put in place to help decrease that frustration, anxiety that the person is feeling because of the disease that they happen to have. So having a routine, but also having it clearly visible as a way that the person is able to answer their own question by reading at whatever is written on the wall is really something that is helpful because it helps them feel in control with how they are spending their energy, their time throughout the day. And I will say that when you're thinking of your routine, think about when the person you're building the routine for has more or less energy throughout the day, and try to plan high intensity activities in those moments when they have more energy. So try to really be intentional in what you place in that schedule so that it fits with their normal body rhythm. If they are someone that is more awake during the morning, well, maybe the morning is a great time to do a bit of cognitive stimulation and a bit of an exercise. If they really are living somewhere that's warm, middle of the afternoon might not be the best time to go for a walk. But after dinner, when it's cooler, that might be a good time to do that. So a routine is very helpful, but make sure that you build one that works for your loved one and also for your schedule. If you're a caregiver, you have a lot on your plate, and it's important to make a reasonable plan for your life and ask for help whenever it is possible. When there's a diagnostic of dementia, often there are many people that want to help but don't necessarily know how to. And so as the main caregiver, really important that you make sure that you extend a hand and ask for help to the people around you, because it's going to be usually it's a few years taking care of someone with dementia. So it's a marathon. And so you have to build a strong, solid network of people that will help you through this.
Yeah, I think those are all great tips. And I talked to somebody else recently who said, you sort of build your village to help, and you give tasks to people that things that they're good at, right? So it's easier for them to take on those tasks and to do those tasks. So if you've got to help with the bills and somebody's really good with numbers or really good with bank statements, then delegate that task. It's all about, as you said, it's a village. This can take years. Somebody could be living with us for a decade, maybe 2 decades. So, as you said, you want to get that strong network in place as soon as possible. So, I know our viewers are taking notes, and they'll do so obviously during the webinar as well. You gave some great tips there of things that they could start doing now, maybe to implement for their sake, for their loved one's sake. But when might it be the time to begin seeking additional care to someone who has experience with dementia-related cognitive stimulation activities? Somebody that kind of knows what they're doing. This is their career. This is, they have the tools and they're able to implement that. When is it sort of time to make that transition?
Yeah. So there are many activity professionals that are available to help out and provide cognitive stimulation. And sometimes those professionals do home visits. Sometimes they are part of a day center. Sometimes they'll be a resource in your community. So it really is a resource for you to think about using. And I would say, when is it the right time to start using or ask for help? And it's usually before you think you need it. Because if you come at a point where you realize, I'm a little bit of a crisis moment, I need help, I'm not able to do this particular mental stimulation in a way that I think would be beneficial for my loved one, you are in a crisis mode, which means that you're you're under stress, you're kind of looking for the solution. And so it will be hard to introduce someone new and a new activity in your routine. So I usually, whenever I talk with people about dementia, I usually recommend that you start using a service a little bit before you think you need it, because by the time you will need it, it will already be built into your routine, and you will have been able to introduce that new resource or activity in a way that wasn't stressful, because it was a nice to have. it wasn't a must-have. It was kind of cherry on top. And so it was easy for you to introduce someone new in your network. It was easy for you to drive your loved one to a new location or have a new person come into your house. And if it didn't work that day, no problem. Try again tomorrow, because I can still do the activity by myself. So it's a low stressful way to introduce something new at a moment where it's not make or break.
Yeah, yep, great tip there. And this is going to be an excellent addition to our series of dementia-related webinars that we have on our website. And we thank you so much for bringing this edition to us. Marianne, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, once again, the webinar is called Cognitive Stimulation for Older Adults Living with Dementia. Please head on over to our website. It's www.seniorlivinglive.com. There you can RSVP the webinar once again, July 18th at noon Eastern. We hope to see you then.